Call to order the meeting of the Planning Commission of the Town of Los Gatos for November 13th, 2013. May we have a roll call?
Commissioner Sayoc?
Here.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Here.
Commissioner Talasfor?
Here.
Commissioner Bourgeois?
Here.
Commissioner Birch?
Here.
Vice Chair Smith?
Here.
Chair Erickson.
Here. Will you please stand and join Commissioner Sayoc in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Town of Los Gatos and the Planning Commission in particular strongly encourages active participation on the part of the public in the deliberations of the Commission. There are 3 ways for the members of the public to participate in the deliberations of the Commission. One is to provide written comments for items that are agendized before the meeting so that they can be incorporated in the packets that are distributed to the Commission and available to the public before meetings. There are 2 other opportunities for members of the public to address the Commission. One is during the verbal communications item on the agenda at each meeting, which members of the public can address the Commission on any topic which is not on the agenda for a particular meeting. And the other is on agendized items when we go to the public portion of the public hearing. If you would like to address the Commission in either of those manners this evening, we would want you to fill out a speaker card, which is on the back of the benches in the chamber, and pass it to the staff so that we can call on you at the appropriate moment this evening. We have minutes from the October 23rd meeting of the Commission that were distributed with the packet. Are there additions, corrections, or a motion to adopt the minutes? Commissioner Talasfor.
No additions or corrections from me, but I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the minutes of Wednesday, October 23rd, 2013.
We have a motion to adopt the minutes as distributed from Commissioner Talasfor. Commissioner Bourgeois.
Second.
A second by Commissioner Bourgeois. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are adopted as distributed to the Commission. We have one requested continuance tonight, which is agenda item number 1, which is requesting approval to construct a new single-family residence at 15644 Shady Lane. The staff has recommended that we continue this to the December meeting on December 11th in order for the applicant to have sufficient time to continue to work with the staff on their presentation of materials, preparation of materials for presentation to the Commission. Are there any questions that commissioners have of staff about the project or the requested continuance? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to continue the item to December 11th. Commissioner Sayoc.
I'll move to continue item number 1 to December 11.
We have a motion by Commissioner Sayoc. Commissioner Birch.
I'll second the motion.
And a second to continue agenda item number 1 to the December 11th meeting of the Commission. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's continued to the December 11th, 2013 meeting of the Commission. In addition to their service on the Planning Commission, members of the Commission serve on other committees of the town. There was a meeting of the Historic Preservation Committee meeting earlier today and another meeting on November 5th, and Commissioner O'Donnell is going to give us a report on those meetings.
The meeting today considered 3 matters. One was the building at the, which is, I often think of it as the Mountain Charlie building. And it is a fine old building, and we were considering, you may all recall the back of the building. There are at least 2 stairwells, one of which is fairly new, and it is a iron steel well with some different designs on it. And the second is a covered wooden structure, which is the worse for wear, and so the owner wanted to replace that stairwell. They originally were simply going to replace that. The Historic Preservation Committee was not in favor of that, but suggested that that a change be made to match the existing metal iron stairwell. The applicant thought that was a good idea, and so we had 2 meetings on that. And That was approved today, and the applicant will now seek a permit to do that and wants to move expeditiously. The other was on Bachman Court, which is a development which occurred maybe 20 years ago off Bachman, and the homes in there are lovely, but newer homes, maybe 20 years old. And one of the homes is a shingle-covered home, and two of the walls that are exposed to the sun have had a good deal of damage done to those shingles. So we were requested to approve a replacement of those shingles, but not with exactly the same kind of material, but a similar material. So after much discussion of that, that request was approved. We had inspected shingles on the existing building, and we had inspected the shingles which were proposed, which are a much sturdier form of shingle. And as I say, much discussion about similarities, and it was finally it was approved. And then finally, on that meeting, we were asked to look at, and it was not on the agenda as such, some work to be done on 133 Glen Ridge Avenue, simply a replacement of some of the wood surfacing on the, again, sun-exposed side, less than 25% of the building, and with exactly the same shaped wood, but a better wood. And that was also, well, we said that we would approve that. It was not before us for approval. And that's the only report I have. I don't have the report on the earlier meeting.
That's fine. Thank you, Commissioner O'Donnell. Are there questions for Commissioner O'Donnell? If not, thank you very much. We now would move to the item on the agenda called verbal communication, where members of the public can address the commission on any topic which is not on the agenda. We don't have any speaker cards for anyone who would like to address us about anything, the failing part of the season for the 49ers or any other topic that is not agendized this evening. Seeing that, we'll move on. There are no items on the consent calendar this evening. As noted earlier, the continued public hearing agenda item number 1 has been continued to the December 2013 meeting of the commission. So we would move forward to agenda item number 2 this evening, which is a public hearing to accept public comment on the draft environmental impact report for a request to subdivide a 10.3 acre parcel into 17 lots at 100 Prospect Avenue on property zone R120, contained in subdivision application M-13-003 and environmental impact report EIR 13-002. As required by the California Environmental Quality Act, this public hearing is being held during the 45-day public review period of the draft environmental impact report for the proposed subdivision. The notice of availability for review of the draft EIR was released on October the 22nd, 2013, with the 45-day review period ending on December 6th, 2013. This public hearing is an opportunity for members of the public to provide verbal comments on the completeness and adequacy of the draft environmental impact report. Written communications will be received until the close of the public review period on December 6, 2013, and should be directed to the staff of the Department of Community Development of the town. This public hearing is not intended for the consideration of the proposed project or for the certification of the draft EIR itself. The Planning Commission may actually not act upon the merits of the proposed project until the final EIR has been prepared. Following the public hearing this evening, when we will hear comments from the public on the draft environmental impact report, and the close of the 45-day public review period on December 6th, staff and the town's environmental consultants will respond to all written comments and to the testimony that we received this evening. Those responses will be included in the final EIR report, which will incorporate any revisions to the draft EIR that are necessitated by the comments that are received this evening. With that introduction, I would ask the staff, are there any additional comments or any additional information that the staff would like to share at this time?
Staff has nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or that the commission, members of the commission have at this time before we open the public portion of the public hearing? Thank you very much. So we will now invite comments from members of the public. And if you've not already turned in a speaker's card and you'd like to speak, we would ask you to do that at this time. And when you do so, when we call upon you, would ask that you come up to the podium, and we'll give you, you'll have up to 3 minutes to speak. The commission will not be asking questions of speakers this evening, simply listening to the public comments. And we would ask for the record that everyone introduce themselves by name with their address. So we have 2 speaker cards, so we'll move to the public portion of the public hearing. We'll call Mr. Jack Van Ada first. We're going to ask you to hold on a minute. The mic is not working.
Yeah.
Got to restart.
Oh, got to remember. I don't really have
With
to
your
go
name
back.
first.
Okay, Jack Manado, 165 Euclid Avenue, Los Gatos. I am an indirect neighbor of the convent, living probably the equivalent of 3 to 4 blocks away. And I just wanted to express my appreciation that the convent included so many of us in the neighborhood to come and meet with them, have questions, and talk about the overall project. I have not had time to go through the entire EIR. I don't know anybody that could. But I did see one thing that always concerns me in these, and that is that there are expected to be a net increase, or excuse me, there's supposed to be about 41 people that will move into 17 homes. If you had husband and wife, that's 34 people, and then it's 7 additional kids in 17 homes. Just doesn't seem reasonable. And if the schools are to do projections on the real number of students that will be coming to the schools, 7 does not seem adequate. We've seen this in numerous other developments, and I just don't know where the counts are coming from, but they don't seem right. Anyway, again, it's my pleasure to support this project. If I find something in the EIR that seems disagreeable, I will write about it and let you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Van Ada. Next, we would call Susan Kenkel.
Susan Kenkel, 99 Reservoir Road. I'm across the street from the convent. I just want to tell you how fortunate I think we are that we are here listening to a proposal that is the polar opposite of a planned development. I applaud this plan. It adheres to the zoning of the town. It follows the general plan, and it is consistent with our neighborhood. I have not, just like Jack, read the entire EIR, and I know that there are things in there. I know that can be problems. I understand that there are problems to be solved, questions to be answered, but this is a model for how things should be presented to the Planning Commission, I think, and I am a firm supporter. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kenkel. Next, we call Bill Kraus.
Good evening. Bill Kraus, 191 Kimball Avenue. Firstly, I'd like to thank the sisters for having an inclusive project of planning. And as one of the neighbors who participated in the San Jose Water Reservoir project, that's kind of a good thing. That was a fight. I think this is something we want to work towards a community or a neighborhood solution. And one of the things I've noticed in the project is the average lot size is 25,000 square feet. And even though that's above the minimum of the neighborhood zoning, it actually doesn't comport with the neighborhood, the character of the neighborhood. In fact, that was one of the big fights with San Jose Water. They wanted five lots, and the neighbors wanted 3 lots for that property. In the end, there was a compromise, and the compromise was 29,000 square feet approximately for the San Jose Water project. So, and that was considered below the average of the neighborhood. The 25,000 square foot that's in this proposal is even lower than that. So I would point out that this is below the neighborhood standard and would request that the lot size be reconsidered and be more in line with the neighborhood. Another problem that, or an issue that I see with the plan is the frontage. The frontage of each lot is actually below the average that we'd see in the neighborhood. And when you're in a more of a country feel, frontage is a very important thing in a neighborhood. When you reduce that frontage, you start compacting the homes, and you look at it, and all of a sudden, it goes from a country feel to something that's much more like a subdivision field. So those, with only those 2 issues in front of us, I would propose that the lot size be looked at as more of the compromise lot size that was found for San Jose Water, 29,000 square feet. That's my comments, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Kraus. Now we would call Anthony Lazell. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Anthony Lazell, 105 College Avenue. Again, I support the whole process and the way it's worked. It has been a big difference to Ditton's Lane and a few other projects around here. Every time I drive up College Avenue, I look at Los Gatos Penthouse. Now I go up and I look at Laurel Mews. And I think it's very important that we really do consider the town we live in, because these blots stay for a long time. I have a kitchen that fronts out onto College Avenue. Traffic is a constant problem on that street. If I rated the best people for using the street, I'd say it was Testarossa Rosa and their Testarossa Winery and their customers. The worst people using the street, I would say, are the residents. They are the biggest speeders, and anybody that looks at that street in the morning between 7 and 9 o'clock and in the evening, it is a very dangerous street. We have a lot of walkers and a lot of other people going up. And what I would ask our planning organization this time, to actually do a professional traffic study on the impact of this, because the study that was done for Ditton's Lane was a joke. It was a professional insult. If I assume that the consultants were professional and competent, then I can only assume that the briefing given to them was slanted to achieve a certain objective. And I would ask that we actually do look at the impact of traffic and the people that use that street, not just the people that live on there, but the people that actually walk their dogs, run, cycle, and do everything up. Because I can tell you, if you stood where I did in the mornings, it's quite frightening sometimes. And I'm perfectly happy with it being developed. I haven't had a chance to look in detail at the density, but we do need to put traffic as a number one result. And that includes, by the way, the impact on the bottom junctions down here. Anybody that's seen people doing 3-point turns down the bottom of the street and going through the stop sign knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm totally supportive. I'm just asking you that we really do the job properly this time. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Lazell. Next, we would call Sister Mary Pat Leroy.
Good evening, Chair Erickson and the members of the Planning Commission. My name is Sister Mary Pat Leroy. I chair the Long Range Planning Committee for the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary. Our sisters have truly felt it a blessing to reside in the town of Los Gatos since 1945. We leave, sadly, after considering many options to meet the present and future health care needs of our sisters in a new and in a financially viable manner. As you have read, we have chosen to return our property to its residential roots consistent with the surrounding homes and the existing Town of Los Gatos zoning and general plan. The zoning allows for up to 21 lots on our property. Our tentative map proposes 17 lots, a lower density than is allowed. We value and respect our property, which holds memories for our sisters and so many more people who have passed through it. I would like to comment on our request for an environmental impact report. After reviewing the application and all of the technical studies for our project, the town and its environmental consultant determined that an EIR is not required for this project. The town further concluded that an environmental review process under CEQA could have been fulfilled by preparing an initial study, mitigated negative declaration. Given what exists today and what is proposed, there are no significant unavoidable impacts, several beneficial impacts, and remaining impacts are mitigated to less than significant levels. While preparation of an initial study and a mitigated negative declaration would be legally appropriate and adequate, we have elected to have the town complete a comprehensive EIR. We have made this request in order to provide additional information to the public and to ensure that all potential environmental impacts are thoroughly studied and that the project is evaluated for consistency with the town goals and policies. Since we announced the property transition, we have mailed periodic updates to more than 200 residents on the Hill, and we have held 6 community meetings with our neighbors. We have been gratified by the support we have received from our neighbors for our early and ongoing neighborhood outreach, our 17-lot plan, and our transition planning. Several of our neighbors and friends are here this evening, and we plan to continue to keep them updated on our progress. We are pleased with the completeness, thoughtfulness, and thoroughness of the EIR. We want to thank the Commission for taking comments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seeing no other speaker card, we're having no other speaker cards at, oops, oh, one more. Okay, great.
My name is
Go ahead.
My name is Don Mwali. I live on 118 Masol. I'm a retail developer, and so constantly have conversations with landowners as cities extract more. There's only one place for it to come out of, and that's the price of the land ultimately. And whilst all these comments must be considered in full, the reduction of houses from 21 to 17 is a 20% reduction versus the allowable number of lots. To reduce it further by increasing lot size to 14.6 or 14 houses reduces the number of houses by another 15%. The developer is going to have a lot of fixed costs, and at the end, if those reductions must be made, they come out of one place, and that's the long-term health care for the sisters that have given so much to our community over the years, and like to see whatever can be done to make sure that traffic is studied and lot sizes are considered, but do consider that ultimately it shakes out to the land price. So,
Thank you very much. So we do one final call for speakers. Seeing no one else coming forward, we will now close the public portion of the public hearing. And the Commission would like to thank members of the public who spoke this evening for your comments, as well as people who have provided written comments already to the staff. A reminder to the public that written comments on the draft environmental impact report will be taken until December 6, 2013, and can be filed with the Community Development Department of the Town of Los Gatos. If you have an interest in the project and have some comments on the draft environmental impact report, the Commission would strongly encourage you to provide those comments in written form to the staff of the Department of Community Development before December 16th. No, December 6th, sorry. Anyway, the public hearing by the Planning Commission for consideration of the project And the final EIR has not yet been scheduled, but is likely to be in the month of January 2014. The Planning Commission is, in fact, the deciding body for the proposed project and for certification of the EIR. And we would like to invite members of the public who have an interest in this project to monitor the meeting schedule of the public, of the public hearings of the Planning Commission, so that you would have an opportunity to join us at the meeting where we conduct the public hearing, which we will consider the proposed project and the final EIR, so that we have the richness of your comments to guide our deliberations. Any additional comments from the staff? Any other additional comments from members of the commission? If not, we will close this portion of the agenda of the Planning Commission this evening. We have a report from the Director of Community Development.
Yes, since we last met, the Development Review Committee met one time, which was yesterday, and approved some exterior modifications to the Los Gatos Motor Inn. Additionally, the Town Council met on November 4th and approved the required materials for the AHAS program that was forwarded by the Planning Commission and recommended for approval in October. And the Town Council also discussed plan developments, and they ultimately provided direction to staff to bring back additional information so the matter can be discussed further. And so as that moves forward, there was discussion of the potential of some Planning Commission interaction regarding that item, and as that evolves through the Town Council, then we will bring that forward as necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Paulson. Any questions for the staff? Any other mission matters from members of the commission this evening? If not, we're adjourned.